Testing.
Darts of the magic variety.
Dutty tunes, cuz. Oh, have you been in there? There's some absolutely dutty tunes, cuz. To be quiet, I can't hear the music.
Sorry, mate.
The conversation's going south. Hello and welcome to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. We're back. We're better than ever. God, I'm really feeling it today. Wow, boom, pow. In the building, it's your favourite two boys, the boys who bring the noise. It's me, it's Andrew Cohen. There's a lot of me, and it's half me, half Andrew Cohen. We've had a week where we've done a first sketch. We haven't done a sketch for a while, and we used to make sketches all the time. We'd spend ages making them into almost like art house films, and then with the comedic angle, we'd spend 6 months sort of working out every bit of it, and then we'd post it, and 200 people would watch it on YouTube, and that would be that's sick. That's the most we've got. And then we filmed a sketch last week on my phone in an afternoon. The whole thing took about 5 hours from start to finish, and it's got more views than anything we've ever made comedically put together. So that was quite a humbling experience. Andrew's got his week off. We've been trying to make some stuff, but obviously Andrew finds his ways to get caught up in other little mischiefs, little snafus. How are you doing, Drew?
I'm doing very well. I'm trying to not let the recent success of our comedy sketch life go to my head.
Yeah.
I find that I find it amusing because a lot of the it's all going out under your name,
yes.
Under your Instagram.
Yes.
So I've got a few follows from it
Yeah.
on my Instagram, and they're basically greeted with photos from Sri Lanka from 2014.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's
so I think the last thing I posted on Instagram was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I get a real sense of joy when I get someone, oh yeah, that was a good sketch.
Yeah,
I'll follow this guy who did it, and they're greeted with nothing.
Yeah.
There's no content on there.
Yeah.
Nothing to be seen here. Move on.
Yeah.
You got to keep your private life private.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just normally when you see a sketch that's it had lighting and it's clearly using iPhone tripod, so it looks like we're in the content game.
Yeah.
And you assume with the other person in that sketch,
No, I'm
they'll
thoroughly
have
out of the content
a lot
game.
of stuff, and then you go on it and it's literally
Lanka 14.
one of those weird comments on local town forums.
Yeah,
and
pretty
you
much.
go on their profile.
There's one of my cat and a rabbit that you killed.
I remember when you posted that about 6 years, 7 years
cool,
ago.
man.
Yeah,
Pretty good photo. Check it out.
Lanka 14 when you went to
Lanka 14.
Was it something like that?
Sri
When you went
Lanka.
to Sri Lanka.
At Andrew K7, I think it is.
Yeah, follow Drew.
Give me a like.
For no
Give me a
content.
follow for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing I post is reposting the things that you post that I'm in.
Yeah, it's kind of but you don't really put much stank on it.
No. It's I might say link in bio because apparently that's what we do when we're out here.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty bewildered.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
The week off, I seem to be doing more work in my week off than I was in my weeks on. It's been hectic, but we're out here and we're ready to do a podcast, is what I'm saying.
We're out here?
Yeah, we're out here. As in, we them boys, we out here.
Okay, yeah.
But I've spent a lot of this time scrolling through the comments of the videos that we've posted, and my favorite thing about the Ride on Time sketch,
Which is on TikTok.
is we posted at the start of it, we do
1990, yeah.
90, and there's been a raging debate
Over whether it's 1989
or 1990 in the comments, and you can see, because what I find terrifying about it is it's definitely, because a lot of people they'll say there's people coming in saying it was actually 1989.
It probably was.
Not to be pedantic, but it was, because then they say it was this many. It had this many weeks as the number one in 1989, and I was around then.
Yeah.
Why have they got TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
They're like 50-year-olds.
Yeah, I remember when that was in it.
Commenting
also,
on our videos.
Don't come in. This is not your space.
That's not the point.
And why don't you stay on old TikTok, which is like, you know, pictures of battleships and stuff? Like, why are you coming into like young, cool TikTok?
We're stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. It's like, I remember when this was #1. Get out. What are you doing, you pedo?
Yeah, no, paedophiles.
Yeah, they're all pedos as well.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok, you cast your net out quite far with TikTok because it's built to make videos go viral, which, you know, on the front of it, that's great. That's more views. But then you realize, but what type of views?
What lurks beneath?
You really get the kind of...
We don't want paedophile views.
There's paedophiles and there's just the fucking deviance in society in general. I mean, the fact that there's a sketch there and everyone seems to like to talk about what the sample was.
Yeah.
As if we've done something wrong.
Yeah,
as if we've made a mistake.
Because we said the making of Ride on Time.
Yeah.
They like to point out that it was actually sampled from another song. Well, I'd also like to point out I'm not Loletta Holloway. Nor did Horatio make the song.
Yeah. I like that they've accepted that part.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Okay, yeah, makes sense, but it was actually not an original piece. It was sampled from another song. So I also nearly got really petty because the sketch is of Horatio's made the beat and he's playing it on my decks, my DJ decks. So I saw someone comment, "Oh, yeah, cool. I remember a song being made on the DDJ DSM2, which is a type of decks."
Yeah.
And because obviously you wouldn't make a song on decks, you would mix on them. But he got the wrong decks, so I was really, I really wanted to go in.
You nearly entered the TikTok.
I was honestly, I clicked. I've never commented on anything on TikTok in my life. I nearly jumped in on that, but I thought,
that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Rise above. Be the bigger man.
There's two. It's a sort of like a sliding doors moment where you could have made that comment, which is the way TikTok get you in, where people say annoying shit that you can't help but feel you want to join in the discourse. And there's two options. You managed to stave off, which is good. But if you'd gone down there within a month, you would be doing just the dances, the ones that
doing
get like
cute
5
videos
million.
with my girlfriend.
Yeah, it is truly awful, isn't it?
Yeah, because this is the first, because having the only experience I have of TikTok is looking at the videos that you post of me on it.
Yeah.
And then when we were sitting here writing another one, I was flicking through for the first time. It's a load of tripe. It's nonsense because it's all underage ladies with their breasts out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or their bum.
Yeah, all their bums.
And it's all... There's no...
I mean, this is clearly someone who's just seen TikTok for the first time, because this is what everyone says when they see TikTok for the first time.
But then it's like, it's not... The content isn't... Like, the boobs and the bums aren't the consequences of the content. The content is the consequences of the boobs and the bums. They're writing... They're trying... Yeah, well, sit on that one for a bit. These videos are kind of angled around, how am I going to get my bum in this?
Yeah.
How am I going to get my boobs in this?
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And there was one where it's like these two people on the fucking tube. Yeah. And she like sets the camera up on the other side of the tube and then starts like miming a song. And she nearly falls over and the boyfriend like catches her and then she keeps miming it and then they laugh and then they kiss.
5 million views.
5 million.
It's
And
ridiculous.
then, but the comments, like, what annoys me, not necessarily about the high quantity of views, it's the supportive comments underneath it about how cute they are.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
That way
they're
he
disgusting.
looks at her, he's so protective of her.
Oh my God, never seen a more beautiful couple.
If my girlfriend posted a video like that, it would be over, and it wouldn't be over in the sense that I would just leave. I'd start like psychologically abusing her of beyond our relationship ending, so so that she could never move on. It would be that sort of level of punishment. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, is that if I was with a girl and we were on the tube and then
I'm there, I'm
into it.
Cool.
Stay with me.
Northern line.
Oh, it's dark. It's kind of like Twilight.
Yes.
She then disappears, walks to the other side of the tube and puts her camera down and starts filming, and then starts to mime a song to me. She's getting thrown on the floor.
What? On the floor, not out
on the
there.
floor.
Okay.
Well, if it was by a station, the doors open, perfect.
Okay.
But if the tube is in motion,
no, because it'd be great if the doors open, you kick her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then the door's shut, and you just like give them one of these.
Yeah, that'd be a great video.
That would be a good video for sure. That would be. No, that's a great video. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a weird relationship with TikTok because most people who listen to this and the way that this has all grown and like the audience, they have come from TikTok.
Yeah. I know very little about TikTok.
Spending more time on it, you start to get it a bit more. But then I also think you're acclimatizing to the crock of shite. And I think the reason why it is so shit is it's like it is built for kids and it's mainly used by like 16, 17-year-olds. Even though there are genuinely some funny stuff on there, it's got some like stuff that's like Vine almost.
Yeah.
But remember when in like 2010, 2012, if you look back at some of your Facebook statuses.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I remember my first Facebook status.
What was it? What was it?
It was when the Wimbledon finals were on and Murray was in the quarterfinals, and when Andrew Kerwin is watching Murray. Come on.
Imagine that's a TikTok. Awful.
Amazing.
So like when anyone looks back at those kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous ones with the spelling mistakes and the kind of like, rate like for like, remember those things, or like rate for rate type
rate
thing?
for rate, yeah.
You know, all of that stuff that you do because you're a child.
And for likes back in the day, the only dislike people would do was don't see enough of you,
don't see enough of you.
They didn't want
like,
to publicly
it doesn't
shame
really
them.
work. I like the ones where it's like
It's
that
like,
someone's
you're funny, dislike, you really smell, I think you've got a problem. You can't really air your laundry out on Facebook.
See, like you saying this is what's weird, is people might not even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
Because either they're too old or too young.
Yeah, rate for rate, like for like.
Do you want to explain what rate for rate is?
It was when you were young and you did a Facebook status, probably when you were about 14, maybe 13, 12, around that age. And you'd, after school, you put a Facebook status saying like for like, and then people would like that status, and then you would then have to do your post on their Facebook wall, your likes and dislikes about them. That was it.
Yeah. So, but like, I would love to. No one ever did it seriously.
No.
And it would just be incredible. Like, can't think of anything at the moment. Not looking good though. We'll let you know if I find something. Dislike, and then it's just like 5.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because because I remember getting people that was like, I don't know you from Adam, but you'd still going to do a like.
Yeah.
And dislike, and every time your dislike would be, don't see enough of you.
Yeah, but it's weird when people would like that who've met you once. It's like, what do you want from me? What do you want?
Exactly.
But sorry, I think we're getting a bit too focused on that. But what my point is that how awful we were on social media. Now give that to the medium of TikTok.
Yeah.
Where you're being encouraged to do
Video.
all these things, video
Rather than text.
Yeah, and then other kids sharing it. Like, I do get it, and this is the eternal problem with TikTok and TikTok stars. Yes, they represent the end of culture and civilization as we know it. Sure,
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
they are also but they are also children, so it's not their fault. Which is like a weird.
Yeah.
So like Charlie D'Amelio, who's the big star, she's got
she?
100 million TikTok followers.
What does she do?
She dances.
With a booty out.
No, not really. Yeah. She's actually like, she's a good dancer, but it's less.
How old is she?
She's like pretty, but she's not like sex. It's not like her appeal isn't like sexiness.
Okay, but
like
she's got a little something.
She's got the girl next door look.
Yeah,
it's interesting to see what sort of
plaid shirts and pigtails.
Kind of a bit, but all of the ones who are making that kind of have an American sweetheart style about them as well.
How old is she?
She's 17.
Oh Christ, that's like everything I said back.
I don't. Boys gone wild. It is the thing, which is like all of these people don't know that they are like the beginnings of the ground shaking for the collapse of all civilization as we know it. They have no idea. They're just dancing away. But it's weird how they are the cause of it, but also it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to be positioned to be on. That these kids who are completely innocent, you can't blame them. Blame the parents. Always blame the parents.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't mind taking the parents out and having a proper word with them and embarrassing them.
Like have an Italian dinner with them, have 3 courses, and then when it gets to the main, you say, right,
guys,
we need to talk about TikTok.
What, with the parents?
Yeah, with the
You've
parents.
just taken them out. And
I take them out. I'll message them on the internet, then take them out for a discussion about TikTok.
Why are you busy? Like the kid's like a huge star.
Yeah, they probably got work and
things, but maybe. It's always
if we
worth
get enough of a following,
it's always worth a punt.
But I've seen, because we did another one, which is to promote the podcast.
Yeah.
And it was we discussed lesbians on it. So I think that because I think the phraseology was, you said you haven't really got any lesbian friends. I said I've got half a lesbian friend. You said bi doesn't count, and I said no, she's just not really my friend. And there was a lot of discussion about you saying bi doesn't count. Because then there was one like bi doesn't count, quotation marks. Let's not. Just that attitude makes me want to be, because it doesn't open up a dialogue.
I want to do bi erasure as soon as I see someone do.
Yeah,
let's not.
I know what you mean.
I want to pretend that I don't think they're a valid identity.
Because it doesn't exactly. It doesn't open up a conversation. Does it? Let's not. Because it's not gonna. Actually, no, you're right. I won't.
You're on notice.
And then a lot of people
People suck so much.
People really do.
They just
and then
fucking suck.
We did have quite a few people flock to it, being like, he wasn't saying bi doesn't count as a valid queer identity. He's saying bi doesn't count as being a fucking lesbian.
Seconds. I think the thing that pisses me off is like, clearly it's a 15-second snapshot, so they don't know who we are. We could be either way. But it's like, you'd never get the benefit of the doubt from these people. It's never like, I don't know enough about these people. I'm going to assume that they're not biphobic.
That is because we're white men as well.
That's saying a lot. Go on.
Well, because naturally, if you've been triggered by something or had the potential to be triggered by something, you're going to be probably more inclined to presume that we were using it in a bad context if we're white guys. It's
true. And I think what I've realised about it is it's like there's a lot of debates about free speech and wokeness and about if it's actually progressive, it's actually having all these kind of like genuine political debates. But the main one I finally realised is that politically correct people and white people, they just suck. Like that is as simple as that. It's not like it's not. You can intellectualize it. You can have a rational debate about it. But fundamentally, people who are woke or too woke, there's something about them. Even when they're saying something I like or I agree with, they just suck. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you hear them and it's like you're. It's just lame as shit. It's like uncool. It's like sadly that's weirdly. I think one of the main reasons I dislike it is it's just lame.
Yeah. Are you talking specifically about people that would like comment something like that?
Just the whole culture around it and the kind of the moral virtue, the virtue signaling, all of that. Sometimes they're saying things that I like agree with but the way they do it, it's just uncool.
Yeah.
It's just a bit lame.
It is lame as fuck. I know exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that sometimes it's like you're just saying this because you're like you believe this. No, it's just you're a vibe killer, and it's like actually lame.
A vibe killer.
It's like it's like you're wearing a Hollister hoodie. It's like it's just like. I have nothing against hoodies or like fine, like it's
or Hollister.
Or Hollister, fine. But it's just lame. It just sucks.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I agree because it's tough because when you're saying I think annoyingly
you get in circles with the whole debate of like free speech. Fundamentally, woke people they just suck. They just are so fucking lame.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is the interaction with comedy with it.
Yeah.
Because I think when it's like, when the woke conversation around comedy, it's lame as shit.
Lame as shit, fine comedy. Let's just talk about it, comedy.
Yeah. Because I think with other stuff, if someone's making a valid point, it's it can be different. Yeah. But because my thing where I would see woke culture in that way is that comment of can we not please?
Yeah,
that's
lame.
That is lame as shit, especially if you're throwing an emoji in there with like the hand.
Lame. Just chill out. Have a beer. Sit down. Let's have chill out.
But there is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that as well?
So like my friend Harry Monaghan, who was on the show last week, once put it in a really funny way, which is like political correctness is like VAR. Like they might, just because they're right, they're right, but they're taking the fun out of the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's sort of what I think about political correctness.
Well, we've lost a lot of it is our lack of capacity to laugh at ourselves and others.
You're right, but it's taking the fun out of the game.
Yeah.
VAR. Sometimes, like you get the right decisions, but
I guess
sometimes it's
offside, but is it worth it for the flow of the game?
Well, I think sometimes we like getting a bit wrong,
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll keep it at that. So what's been in the news? I've seen the biggest some breaking news for all of us. There's been this fucking letter that's been circulating around, doing the rounds on social media and the news and all of that jam. Boris Johnson. Mm-hmm. We all know him.
Yeah.
He did a post about for some reason whenever I discuss news stories, I always seem to lose my capacity for speech.
Yeah, you kind of lose a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
As soon as you go.
Whenever I have to recount it, Boris,
because you come in to the ideas session like before, and you're like, I got this thing locked and loaded. I'm gonna, and then as soon as you have to open your mouth and try and get it out, you realize how little you know.
I realize all I know about it is what's written down, which is Boris's letter. So Boris Johnson did a post.
People come here for the news now.
I know.
There's people who just get their news from here.
Yeah. So we have a broadcast.
By the way, we are a fake news podcast, and we're proudly dedicated to disinformation,
spreading nonsense and lies.
Yeah, that's our kind of brand here.
Yeah. So Boris. Anyway, back to Boris. He did a post in the last hour or so, maybe 2. Maybe 3.
Could be a last year, honestly.
So he received a letter from a kid called, let's call him Mo.
Fucking hell, this is the one.
Let's call him Mo.
Jesus
8 years old.
Christ.
So he posts saying, received this letter from Mo 8. And then in the post is the picture of the letter from Mo. Mo is no, I've got it now. Mo is concerned about Santa not coming this Christmas because of coronavirus. You know, is he going to be able to come because of all the social distancing?
Concern, Mo.
So Boris Johnson writes back saying that he's spoken with the top health advisors and Santa will be able to come. Maybe you should leave some hand sanitizer by the cookies just to be extra safe about it.
Fine.
Mo doesn't
Don't
exist.
see anything wrong here.
Mo does not exist. Mo's a lie. Mo is Boris Johnson writing with his left hand. And then he is then replied. Someone else has then replied who isn't Boris Johnson because it's politics. Mo doesn't exist. I've seen people sharing it going, oh, isn't that sweet? Yeah, it'll be sweet if Mo was a real human child.
Who's
he
sharing
is
it?
not a really distant Facebook friends.
Oh, fine, okay.
Yeah, like kind of the girls I'd met through Amateur Dramatics when I was like 12 years old.
Because Facebook is the Facebook, because Instagram is very curated. And TikTok, it's kind of like more youth and less political like that. But Facebook is where you really get anything. People can post anything.
The wetties.
Wetties or just like there's some wild like conspiracy. Just some. It's like you realise someone's in a completely different paradigm to you and like a completely different world. Anyway, so Mo, you think
on that plane? I don't know if this will make it in, but I just want to say a funny thing I did on Facebook because I find it really funny.
Okay.
If we can put it up there, it's just my mum posted this, shared this thing, this really long thing. If we could get it up, it was just like when my kids ask me what do I want for Christmas, my answer is this. I want you. I want to hear all about your troubles. I want you to pour your heart out to me. Tell me what's making you happy. Tell me what's making you sad. All I need for Christmas is you. So come over, forget about the presents, forget about the money, because I just love you and want you to be mine. And I commented, sorry, I can't make it this year.
It's a great one because like really you're funny. Quite sporadic on Facebook.
I laughed for a hell of a long time with that by myself.
You've had some crackers. I think a personal favourite of mine is when there was the big craze when we were at school of tag a mate. So it was like tag a mate who does this, tag a mate who does that, and you did, which was a really good one. It was tag a mate with a hot sister, and you tagged yourself, and no one else.
No one else, yeah.
So
no one else is seeing it. You might come across it on your newsfeed.
And I came across it on my newsfeed, and it was so good. It was such a great punt.
The tough with those kind of jokes is because there is
you can't tag anyone else.
Exactly, but you also can't tell anyone else. I took a screenshot just for me, but then you just have to leave it and see if it happens or not.
It's so good.
Tag
a mate with a hot sister. Tagged yourself. It is iconic.
So this letter, right?
Yeah.
Because you see, this happens every fucking year with politicians. What they do, they post a picture. This is virtue signaling as well. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do something nice for a kid, don't tell the world about it. That's not how the game works, though. You know, we're all out here hustling. Sure, I get it, Bojo. I'm in the same boat as you. I'm trying to make money.
Yeah, we're all Bojo. Like we're one and the same. We're out here hustling.
Make up a child. Mo doesn't exist.
You sure?
Mo does not. Hashtag Mo doesn't exist.
Okay, we can start that. But I thought you'd actually know what you're talking about as opposed to conjecture.
No, Mo doesn't exist.
And that's just because you don't think he does.
It's nonsense because they thought, shit, there's this whole thing about Christmas and coronavirus. How are we going to show that Boris has a genuine Christmas spirit? How do we show that Boris isn't the Grinch? We make up a child, we get him to write in who's concerned about the coronavirus laws that are in place, and then Boris has a chance to directly respond to the people most affected by the lack of Christmas because of coronavirus to show that he does have a Christmas soul. But what he's actually done is show to the world that he will go to no lengths for power because he'll make up a child. He'll make up an 8-year-old child.
Do you think that's the worst of his crimes?
I think that is the biggest crime in British political history. Full stop.
Do you think there's going to be like a panorama kind of documentary about
there needs to be.
Childgate.
But Mogate.
Yeah.
His name's not Mo, which I wish I knew.
Yeah, it's just you completely got...
It's similar. It's similar. But forget colonialism, forget wars, forget the invasion of Iraq.
All right, so you're a child and you're writing a letter to Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Or after...
No, you're now. You've seen this happen. Now you're writing a letter into Boris Johnson.
Dear Boris.
Dear Boris. Okay, good.
Dear Boris, I've seen your correspondence with Mo. The first thing that disconcerts me about this would be that Mo doesn't exist. Me being an 8-year-old child as well makes me feel like you don't value real children. You only value fake children that allow you to stay in power. Yours sincerely. P.S. Santa, P.S. Your response to Mo is nonsense. And I'll tell you why.
For why, yeah.
And I'll tell you why in my next letter.
Nice.
Signed, sent, gone.
Nice.
Dear Boris.
Okay, this is not... What, are you sending them
Carrying
straight?
on
Are you
for
sending them straight
away?
So he's going to open one and then say, another letter, and then it's going to be
and it'll be shot.
part 2. Yeah.
You've got to make an entrance
Okay,
into
so
the
Boris.
White House. It's not the White House. Fucking hell.
You studied politics.
Dear Boris. Carrying on from my previous correspondence.
Incredible vocabulary for this 8-year-old.
Carrying on. Well, because nothing exists in politics, you know. I'm an 8-year-old child, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't even exist.
Okay.
And in a way, I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Do you want to send letters to Boris Johnson?
Sorry.
So I'd say, actually, dear Boris, having read your response to Mo, he opens up with, "Dear Mo, thank you very much for your correspondence," is what he says.
Yeah.
Okay, you're getting this down. He says,
that.
"Thank you very much for your correspondence." Firstly, you're talking to an 8-year-old child. Why are you being so fucking formal?
You're going to swear? Okay.
Yeah, why are you being so fucking formal about it?
Yeah.
At least pretend that the child actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, you cannot abscond yourself from responsibility. Abscond yourself from social responsibility about cancelling Christmas.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're a hypocrite, Boris. And I'll tell you why you're a hypocrite. You're a bloody hypocrite.
In my next letter.
In my next letter. Yours, Andrew. Dear Boris. Following on from my previous correspondence, I believe I was at the point of calling you a hypocrite because you suggest...
I'm going to be Boris reading it now.
You suggest in your letter to Mo that Santa will not be cancelled this year because he'll still be able to come, even because you've spoken to the health experts that have said it's fine and he'll still be able to deliver his presents. However, that goes against all of the things you said about coronavirus. So I'm Mo, an imaginary 8-year-old child.
Yeah.
I now have no respect for the laws of social distancing and all of the measures that we need in order to finish coronavirus. What do you respond to that? Yours, Andrew.
I'll say, dear Andrew,
You can do a better Boris than that.
Because I don't want to do Boris accents because then it leads into it just.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's fine.
Dear Andrew, respectfully, I would like to remind you that you're an 8-year-old boy and I have the entire artillery and power of the state behind me. I'm clothed in immense power. And I'm going to teach you a lesson right now, boy. What you will realise when you grow up, I'll let you off this time because you're an 8-year-old, is that that's not how way the world works. I was like you. I was a pathetic little weasel. But now I'm in charge. So yeah, I'm going to make up kids. And guess what? They're not going to do anything about it. Go fuck yourself. Yours sincerely, Boris.
And then Andrew grows up to become
a serial killer who kills Boris Johnson.
Who kills everyone called Boris. People named Boris. Which
Good.
aren't few. Do you know many Borises? Anyway, that's the thing about the letter. It's a fake child.
Yeah. I was expecting a better news story, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting something with a bit more.
It's a fake child. Or even if it's not, okay, on the very slim chance that it's not a fake child.
Okay.
There is no way in there is no way in fuck. There is no way in fuck that Boris Johnson opened that letter after having received it at Downing Street, read that letter, and then responded to that letter in the letter that he sent to them. Of course, this is people. He didn't do any of that. Right?
But you're getting angry as if like lots of people are...
Because you can't lie. There's two things you can't lie about in politics. There's two things you can't lie about in politics. That's Christmas and children.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's what they teach you first year in politics. Introduction to politics. There's two things you can't lie about.
Christmas and children. Cool.
Hashtag Mo is a fake.
Well, talking of correspondence we've had messages. There's been two sort of correspondence with long-time listeners of the show. There's Simon KG, who you're not particularly happy with Simon KG at the moment.
My name's not Andy. Now, I like, it's nice that, we have a dialogue with people that listen to the show. We can do some comments in. Why call me Andy? Is my question. I have never... I'm sure you refer to me as both Andrew and Drew throughout the show.
That's pretty much it.
I'm sure it's happened, as everyone in my life does. But for some reason, when people listen to they happened on the radio show at Warwick as well. For some reason, when people are listening to it, they feel like they can call me Andy. You can't call me Andy.
I think it's because it feels more folksy and they feel a connection with you. But
and Andy's the obvious one to go for.
Yeah, because Andy's kind of like, if you're a politician, you might change it to Andy Kerwin because it's like Andy Burnham. Yeah, it's got a folksiness to it. And then Ellis has been, who's another long-time listener of the show, who I think is like 17, I don't know. Worryingly young, because it feels like when you have lit messages in, you're like, oh, we could be really shaping this boy's mind negatively. It's not like a fully grown adult.
We're a fake news channel.
We're a fake news channel, but I don't want him to grow up like, telling people things he's heard on the show as if they are anything other than
Did you hear that thing about paedophiles? Sounds like they're all right. We've had him on the whole time.
We should be, I'd love it if he's just gone back to school and at break time and he's like, this is what I think. I think we should be getting sustainably sourced sex dolls for paedophiles. It's the only way to deal with the problem. Legalize it. It's like prostitution or hard drugs. If you legalize it, the problem goes away.
Yeah, God.
But he was messaging because I think he's
really puts things into perspective.
It really does. What? The fact that you went on a rant about paedophiles last episode?
Well, just everything we say.
Yeah. No, it started being put into perspective near the end of last episode when I was writing it. I mean, I don't know how much if they were trying to actually get this into law, because this is the thing about I'm sorry to bring up the paedophiles thing, as we talked about it for like 20 minutes last episode. If you didn't see the last episode, roughly what we talked about was that maybe you could make ethical child sex dolls for paedophiles so they can get that urge out, and we could do it in a controlled manner. But who's gonna campaign for that?
Me. Us. Boys Gone Wild.
We're going to be the people campaigning because it's
BTW.
It's kind of like it's like campaigning. It's like campaigning for less stigma around having a small penis.
Yes.
Because then everyone's going to think you have a small penis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be the exact. Yeah. So if you're the person saying,
but those are the true heroes of the society.
Those are the heroes. Because if you're saying, because there might be like a fair conversation if we're talking about body positivity that we need to have.
Body positivity. That was the peak of podcast professionalism. Body positivity gets a call. Put it on silent, mate. It is on silent. What happened there? Oh. Who is it?
Diego Maradona just died.
What?
Yeah, Diego Maradona's dead.
This is breaking news.
It's breaking news.
We need to react.
Oh.
Diego Maradona has died.
Well, do you want we can make this show about in memory of Diego Maradona. Well, we could put RIP.
Do like a montage of pictures of him.
He's just died, Andrew.
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate. The poor man. God. Apparently, he loved caning cocaine.
Well, he did. There's a picture of him going to the World Cup in his private jet, and he posted it on social media, but didn't realize in the background there was like kilos of cocaine. It's fucking nuts.
Kilos.
You gotta respect the guy.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Have you seen the documentary about him?
I haven't. No.
It's by the people who did Amy. It's really good.
Is it?
It's about his stint in Napoli, which was like a weird stint because he went to like a working class city in Italy with like a football team that was struggling, and he was the best player.
Sounds like
in
a
the world.
rap.
Yeah, a rap.
Yeah, working class city in Italy.
Working class city in Italy, dead in the middle of Little Italy. Little did I know the two men didn't do diddly.
Back to the paedophile. Sorry. But yeah, there's a lot of those issues that maybe would be nice to open the dialogue about. Sorry, I actually have no idea what you're talking about now. We went on a tangent.
I was saying that the paedophiles trying to get put in the political process to get change like that. Much like if you were a male body positivity, which is trying to get rid of the stigma around having a tiny wingle.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the person who starts that conversation.
And that is a fundamental problem in democracy.
Yeah. Is that because you'd have to...
Someone might come out here saying hard truths, but that might not necessarily reflect well upon them, or might not be for the benefit of the rest of the society.
Because if you come out and say, I think we should have ethical source child sex dolls, you're going to go on BBC Newsnight.
Yeah.
We're going to be sitting down. So you want paedophiles to be banging children?
Absolutely. Oh, no. That's where you're
wrong,
All right,
we've run out of time.
would you mind if I just can I just retort to that? Okay, thank you for having me. And then, Andrew Cohen, child sex candidate. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're the person who's coming out saying like, there's too much stigma around small dicks.
Yeah.
They're gonna obviously. You have to be someone. If I was going on Channel 4 News to talk about how ridiculous it is that we don't have a healthy conversation about the shaming of men with small wingles, I would get like a fake cock in my trousers, like ridiculous. Yeah. I'd wear tight jeans and I'd just have this trouser.
But then would you run on a policy of all men should be given government granted fake penises?
No, because then that breaks that would completely derail my argument, because it would say a big piss.
Oh yeah, because then
a big penis is what you're after.
But then what would happen is a couple of years down the line, you're really successful because obviously it's a very strong political campaign that you're running.
What's the campaign?
For destigmatising small penises.
That's my whole campaign.
Yeah,
like the legalised weed party. It's like a single issue
single
party.
issue, but you get into power. But then there'll be some report saying scandal. Horatio Gould, champion of small penises, is
has
revealed
a massive schlong.
Is revealed. Well, yeah, over that. Yeah, that's better. I was going to say it is revealed to have worn
a fake
penis.
But it's the best.
In
it's
first
like,
BBC interview.
Shock horror. Horatio Gould has a giant
bastion of the small phallus.
He's been pleasuring women with his giant
donkey cock since he was.
And I like go into like the House of Parliament. There's just like loads of men who's like, I believed in you.
Shame for shame for shame.
But you know, it's like that Meghan Trainor song. It's all about that bass. All about that bass. No treble. You know, it's like.
Yes, I love. Yeah.
It's like not all. We need to just create it so it's like all sizes.
Penis matters.
All penis matters.
Penis size matters.
Did you see the photo of Meghan Trainor and the kid from Spy Kids who she's going out with? So this is like one of a great image.
Yeah.
He's grown up now.
Is
you know
the ginger one?
Yeah. Him and Meghan Trainor in like trackies and like looking kind of like just dishevelled.
No.
Coming out of a sex shop with 2 plastic bags filled with dildos. Just filled, like overflowing with dildos.
As in more dildos than anyone could ever use.
Yeah, it's just like a full on. It's like you've done your weekly shop, and it's just like you've got those 2 like bags for
that's
like
fantastic.
just filled with them. I don't know why you'd need, but this is begs the question. It's like
she's made it clear.
What?
It's all about that bass.
It's all about that bass. No treble. Well, so it's just like you want the top part of the cock. You don't care about the tip. It's all about the bass.
No, but a dildo still has a tip.
Yeah, I know, but you're trying to get to the other end.
I was thinking more dildos at the base, and treble is small talk.
Fine, okay. I think it's getting too convoluted.
She doesn't need to go and buy cheese or
the real
bread.
question is, what do you need to do with 2 shopping bags filled with dildos? Like,
oh my god!
Because it's almost like I can understand if you'd have shopping bags filled with like party snacks if you had loads of people coming over. Is that what you're trying to do
orgy?
Or an orgy? That could be it.
Yeah, orgy or decorations for a
novelty, tongue-in-cheek. Those are 2 great answers you nailed kind of quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm here. That's what I'm here for.
You got those both. Yeah, because
I only speak the truth on that. I don't come in here to what's the fucking word?
Yeah, well, brilliant, great. It's great to have you on the team. Actually,
what's the word?
You've just shown
conjecture.
You've just shown what you bring to the show and what you don't bring.
And what I take away from
it. You take away
at the same time.
But because they could have like a swingers party where you'd have like a fruit bowl at the door piled to the brim with dildos.
It's like one. You have to enter the house. You have to put a dildo in one orifice.
What to show that you're fun?
Yeah, to show, it's like just to show that you get it.
But like, would you ever consider swinging?
Yes.
Do you think?
100%.
Go on. Swing. No.
Yeah, go on then, mate. Swing. Absolutely. Absolutely. We've discussed sex and love life a bit before. I think I'm
Go on.
I would absolutely be open to the idea, 100%. I think it's more that because I think once you do your first orgy, then it can only go uphill from there. I think your first orgy
is your worst orgy.
Your first is your worst.
Okay,
is what in orgy terms.
Yeah.
But Because you go, so there's these things about a lot of orgies in London that I've heard about. You go in with like a mask kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of, but that's kind of like high end stuff. It's not because it's like,
and it's all rich men there for the women. But you have to arrive with a woman. So I think I'll be a bit of a spare part there.
How do you mean?
Because I wouldn't be rich nor a woman.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I'd just be this like young guy in a hoodie there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take my hoodie off.
Yeah,
just cock flopping about. Not
because I've heard about
because
these
I can't
sort of
perform
sex
under pressurized situations.
Yeah, because like I heard also at like Oxford Uni and a lot of the elite London private schools, and that sort of trajectory of like Westminster, St Paul's, going into Oxford, going into politics. There is a lot of these sort of high class sex parties that it's sort of all eyes wide shut. And like there's this a society in Oxford where they like get a tent in the middle of this field out in the country, and in the gardens of one of their rich person's house. There's like ambulance on site. They have like a table filled with drugs that they can just like a drugs tent, and then it's just like very classy. And I think I would kind of be into that because I think it would turn me on the aesthetics of it being like eyes wide shut. That would turn me on. I'm not sure I would fit into like
I know someone who's been to that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's exactly how you described it, basically.
Do you have any other thing to add?
Well, no, that's just an interesting. He went to it. He's a gay man, and he went with this guy. And he said it was a bit too much for him, actually.
Really?
And it's someone that's quite aggressively sexually liberated and open.
Not that all gay people are. We're not saying that all gay, just so you know. We need to with these people.
Yeah, true, with the bloody
Not
comments.
all gay people are like sexual deviants.
Yeah, some are introverted cucks.
Only most of
bitches.
them.
Only most of them, like 75%. But he said it was actually a lot, and it was kind of like stressful. I think I'd be much more like I'd be into the more swinger kind of less class.
What the kind of they slap it, you know, bit,
just down someone's house down the road. You know,
they're often
serving,
older.
They're serving like wine from a
40s.
box.
Yeah.
There's
party
rings. That's what it. Party rings on the side. Someone puts him on his knob because it's funny. And then I'll just dive into it. You know, just really get in the vibe of it. I think I definitely will at some point. Because I think
I'd like to know that I could do the experience for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to do it,
but especially
whether I can, I don't think I
after
could.
You've been married for like God knows how many years.
20.
20. Absolutely. Absolutely go into it. Why would you just like? I think because I'm more inclined to nowadays more open kind of relationship type jams, and I think when you've been with someone that long, I think part of it is to have the respect and the love for each other.
Shows a lot of trust.
Exactly. And then because we're swinging, it's not like you're going off and you're having your sexual things externally from each other. You're experiencing it together. You're watching your wife guzzle up a big old cock. And she's watching me guzzle up some fanny. And that's
love.
And that's love, man.
And you can make eye contact during.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
because it's like good cock. Yeah, nice fanny. You know it.
Not as good as last week.
Not as good as yours, babe.
Don't speak their mouth full, Drew.
But no, I think
you'd be great at it, and I do also think that it's a good thing to do. I do think I'd be too awkward. I just think. Maybe I'd like to do it as like an experiment to try and go past that sort of, but I just think,
But that's why I say your first one is your worst one. Because I'm sure, like, I think it's impossible for.
It's weird if you're not awkward. If you've gone in and
of course you're going to be awkward.
The first
cock flapping out, you know.
Who wants some? Come on, you love. Oh, you get first.
Yeah, of course you're gonna. Of course, there's a level of awkwardness for your first time, but I think the joys of it come in your second, third, fourth, 50th time.
Yeah.
That's when it comes in.
Yeah.
Venereal disease is an issue.
Would you ever do like dogging?
Would I ever do dogging? Dogging doesn't appeal.
It doesn't appeal.
To me.
I don't see why. Yeah, I guess that's because if you can't swing.
Do it in the house.
Yeah, but if you can't, then you have to dog.
Okay, so dogging is literally when you drive up to a dogging spot and then you may be getting someone else's car and then start.
But sex in a car, I've never really. Anyway, we sex in a car is another episode. But Ellis was asking last week about he's wondering whether to go to uni or not, and wondering about. Let me find out what the actual question was.
I'm gonna need a wee actually.
That's all right. Perfect. Yeah, so Ellis asked, "What's it like transitioning from A levels to uni?" How did you find it?
I remember being terrified about going when I was younger, As in, I got homesick quite every now and
Yeah,
again.
you used to be a homesick boy.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
when I was young. And I remember uni being like, oh my God, I definitely want to do it. But
Yeah.
fucking hell, that's going to be a daunting thing.
Yeah.
That got better as it got closer. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's a terrifying thing when you first go there, because I remember the weirdest thing being like I was having like a coffee with my family, and I hadn't gone to where I was staying. So my flat, my first year flat. And like in about 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to leave, and then you're just going to go up to that flat. They're going to leave, and you're just going to kind of be there with these people. But I loved it. I was very lucky with the people I had in my kind of flat. But my advice would always be, well, socially, you just got to fucking dive into it. In terms of, I remember going out there, going into that kitchen, and I'm making jokokes.
Yeah, you're cracking them out.
You're not asking for them, but you're getting them.
Yeah. But not everyone is as much of a razor sharp wit as you, Drew. It's not as much.
Oh no, these weren't good jokes. The wit was poor. They were poorly timed, and they were racist.
But it was 2015.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. We didn't know racism was bad. It was 2015.
But I think the good thing to think of is that when you're first going there, everyone is in exactly the same boat as you. Everyone is as shit scared and terrified about their future at uni. They're scared about meeting the people that are living in their flat. And once you realise that, you can kind of just like there's a moment of calm that can just wash over you if you just realise that everyone's in the same boat. We're all going to try and make it through together.
I think I think the same. I was kind of all right for the fear of uni. I was pretty excited about it because it felt like the first time I'd get some sort of freedom, and I really didn't like A levels. Well, I liked the school I was at, but I thought academically I found A levels like I still think they're the hardest thing.
Did he ask? He asked about academically as well, didn't he?
Yeah, just everything.
If your A levels are hard,
I think A levels are harder. So there's people
harder.
saying like, trust me, uni and dissertation style. I do think like the intensity of A levels, and also A levels are much more important.
Yep.
Like it's more important that you get into the right uni than if you get a good grade at that uni. Really.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot more pressure on them. It's a lot much finer margins. It's defines a lot more of your life.
Yeah. Because if you could basically with a degree, if you get that degree, if you're getting a 2-1 or a first, you're just getting that degree from that particular uni.
Yeah, and it's like
in order to get that particular uni, you have to do well in your A levels.
Yeah, and the people you meet is all about the uni you're at,
not
the grade you got. So A levels, I feel for anyone doing A levels.
Yeah, man,
GCSEs are tough, but they also they don't really matter.
Yeah.
They can set you up for being on that Oxbridge treadmill, sure, but in general they don't matter that much. A levels fucking suck, so fair play.
And treadmill implies you don't go anywhere. Sorry,
it does.
It was
conveyor belt.
It was quite a bleak metaphor.
Yeah, it's conveyor belt.
Yeah.
I really like uni. Join as many societies as you could possibly join, I think. Well, no, it's not as many as you could possibly, because that would be a nightmare.
Join all of them.
But join societies, I'd say. We did student radio, which I did find a lot of fun, and we
made more enemies than friends.
Yeah, so they absolutely hated us at our student radio.
I can't imagine why.
We were at Warwick Uni, and we did the station called Raw, which is where Stephen Merchant started, where Simon Mayo started. It's pretty good student radio, and it was great to learn this. And we'd never done anything like it before. And also, I love podcasts, but there's an element to radio. Radio is inherently a funnier medium. Like, I prefer podcasts because most radio is shite, but the content, the medium itself is much funnier.
Yeah, I agree.
The fact that it's live, the jingles, the messages in, the ads, just the fact that it's a station as opposed to like someone's bedroom.
When you're doing a podcast, there's always the low-key thing in the back of your head, like if you say something obscene or it's, or if you go down a trend that's not going too well, we can edit it out.
You can edit it out. So
that doesn't exist.
I certainly really liked, and you should listen to our student radio shows. They're all on YouTube, Gordon Cohen Radio. I really enjoyed just that whole experience, and like the way we approached it was just to be as bold as we could possibly do it. And we got fired from the radio station a couple of times. We had like factions who were on the board of the radio who like liked us, who didn't like us, because we'd just keep we're just desperately trying to push the lines as much as we can to see what we could get away with. We had someone come on. We invited our friends on the show, and they'd tell these awful stories about like sexually explicit stories. We'd get complaints in.
Well, these are like subjects of things like Ofcom.
It's not it's kind of fair enough because it's genuinely illegal.
But they kicked us off.
They kicked us off,
and then
we managed to negotiate it, so we came back on. We won a Raw award the first year because it was like a good year for us. We won best new show, and then we did a
best chat and speech.
Best chat and speech show. We did a speech at the.
You did a speech.
Yeah, I did.
I was a part,
which I think was fucking funny.
I think it worked because I was just standing there. I was powerless.
I did a speech where I said I thank no one. Andrew doesn't pull his weight, and I prefer student radio Nottingham, which is like the rival anyway. And then I think I might have done a mic drop.
You nearly did a mic drop. I could see you motion for a mic drop, and that's when I think I pulled you away.
Yeah. And
you were very drunk.
I was very drunk. It's because we didn't really have any friends there.
You had the best meal of my life.
A lot of them were losers, and I didn't really get on with a lot of them. So we felt fine burning all those bridges, but then we never got nominated again, and it was very much an uphill struggle. And now look at us.
We're doing it out of our bedroom.
Out of our bedroom.
We could be doing it in the big studios, the BBC.
But yeah, I like uni a lot. It doesn't work for everyone for sure, but from my experience, for people who are like in my world, I've had a lot of people who have gone to uni, found it anxious and as understandably, and then dropped out. And in my experience, that I've noticed that has like worked out badly for quite a lot of people. I do think it's easy when my one key advice is like, it's easy when you're at uni because you're used to that school mindset, which is like every year it's such a huge jump. It feels like time is moving so quickly because every year it's just like a different world. You're learning a different thing. Every year matters so much. And at uni it's the same thing, but it's easy to feel like you're running out of time, and that, your time's being wasted or like something like that. I think uni's good because you'll look back on it, and as soon as you leave uni, you realize how young you are and you realize how much time you have. And I do think...
I think with that, it's like, I remember because I did a master's, so I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I remember in the last year, there was a bit of, I'm kind of want to get out in the real world now. Mm-hmm. And I think what uni gives you quite nicely is that desire to be in the real world. Yeah. Because you want to start breaking, because obviously there's a bit of the classic phrase of there's a bubble. So there's a bubble at school, but there's also the bubble at uni. Probably way more significantly at uni than at school. Which is fucking fantastic. Like, you have you have the potential to have an amazing time there as well. And then that's what's quite nice is that when that starts to wear off, your then priorities start to shift. And I think it just those kind of 3 years of inhabiting that bubble, being within that, then gets you like really ready to go. Fuck it, I'm going to go in the real world now, and sets you up nicely for it, I think. And the people you can meet, Jesus Christ, fantastic.
Yeah, and also I feel like because the problem that I find is that with the current ideology and governments and politics of Britain especially, but in the West in general, we're moving towards more vocational degrees. Like, because the Tories have been in so long and neoliberalism has been the kind of key ideology since the 80s, basically there's been this push by politics to get rid of any subject that doesn't seem vocational. And you with our time at Warwick there, you could already feel corporate interest coming more and more into the university system. And it feels like even subjects like English Lit, which seems like, of all the humanities subjects, one of the more vocational or like that you do more with, even Writing. That is starting to like come under scrutiny as if you're taking a huge leap of faith by doing English literature, which is one of the key subjects.
Yeah. It's business.
It's that focus on like, if you go to uni should be so that you can get a degree that gives you the skills to get paid in the future, so you can make the money back.
I think the reason for that is because of the introduction to tuition fees. And there's way more pressure on actually making it worthwhile. So it's no longer, there's a lot less of an atmosphere of you go to uni to have your experiences, to meet new people, to learn a subject that you're passionate about. It's because you have to pay fucking $9,000 a year for it now. is it worth my while economically?
Yeah, you have to make it back, and it's also
But you don't. Like, it's a fucking night. It's weird to have this hanging over my head, the amount of debt. But so do you want to know? Do you want to know how much I pay back to my master's loan every month?
How much?
From my salary?
How much?
£9.
Really?
£9 a month to my master's degree.
But the weird
because I'm not making enough.
But it's going up though, isn't it?
What is?
Your master's. Your debt. You're getting added debt because you're not paying it back quick enough.
I don't think you are.
That's the thing.
Is that a thing?
So this is how it works, which is what's mental about the debt, is they have set it up so that if you can't afford to pay it, you won't have to pay it. But what they do is they increase the debt with interest every year, and they only take it away from your salary if you're earning enough to pay it. And then by the age of 40 or something, they wipe it all. But let's say you then start earning loads of money, but you haven't earned money for the first 10 years.
You'll then be paying more.
Then you'll be paying like 100k, like something crazy, and then you've got like you can get away with it, but it also implies that you'll never make decent money in your entire life.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you can not pay the debt technically, and they sell it as being like, yeah, but if you can't, you don't have to. But it does mean that you've got this ceiling over your head where you don't need to make money. But in general, I did a film studies where it was film theory, so it wasn't practical, but it was just like English lit, but for film. And I think just like, it wasn't particularly vocational, but like having subjects where you like follow things that interest you and develop yourself as a person, I think are really good to have those people and have that sort of school of thought. It's like hard to measure the value, but it has a huge immense of value because I've spoken to STEM students. Boring. It's like, yeah, we need them, but it's like, Christ, if we all become like that, Jesus, we need some pizzazz.
I mean, in terms of the workload as well, if we're talking about the difference in academics, we're saying that uni's a lot, probably easier than
so
A-levels.
much easier.
I mean,
much more interesting
That's
as well.
probably a lot different for STEM.
Yeah, to be fair.
So,
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the stereotypes about our subjects were a little bit true when we were living with STEM.
You just have an incredibly high workload, like you're still at school. Whereas with humanities, it was like
it's a bit more chill.
Can you read this, please?
No.
And then and then you just go to the seminar, and then you just make up some stuff.
No, it's a funny thing at uni how like I love my course, but I find it. I have like ADHD. I could find it so hard to like focus on reading, and like I do so few readings. I've got distractions. I did so few readings.
I'm not legally allowed on trampolines.
Well, okay, we'll get into that another time.
Have we not discussed that?
We haven't discussed that, but I did so few readings. But whenever I did a reading, it would change my life, and I wouldn't.
And he'd always come in my room. He'd burst in my room and tell me about this reading.
Be like, I'd read one thing. And
uni is great. You need to engage with your course and do what they're telling you to do, because I swear to God, this one article by Laura Mulvey has changed my perception of everything. Film doesn't exist. We don't exist.
And there'll be another 5 weeks before I read another one, and then I'll be like, what?
Yeah. No. So my advice would be to engage as well. But like
I regret not reading more or speaking to I regret not having, when you have like top lecturers who are the top in their field. I regret not using that opportunity to really speak to them, or pick their brain, or like really engage with the subject. I wasn't great at that for sure.
No, you've always struggled with the concept of academics.
Yeah, I'm just not.
You're not built for it.
I'm just not built for it.
You're a very intelligent guy that's not built for the structure of the.
Just can't do it. I still shit out decent grades, but it's like
it is shitting them out.
Yeah, I do shit them out. Like every essay I would like almost burst into tears. It was so painful, but I never missed a deadline. So sorry, not sorry. So sorry, not sorry.
But I think I have a story. It's a horror story.
Go on.
That's I think sums up. Yeah, let's do a ghost story. We've had some fun.
Yeah.
But let's get real on this stuff. Me and my friend Adam. It was in second year when we were in Leamington Spa, which is where most people from Warwick stay. It's fairly close to uni. Fun fact about Warwick is it's not actually in Warwick.
Never been to Warwick.
Oh my God, never been.
I've never been to the town of Warwick.
I have, on a Just Eat order.
Really?
Yeah.
When you worked for Just Eat?
When I worked for Just Eat.
How was it? Believe the hype?
Yep. And so it was a cold winter night. I think it was the night before Halloween. Me and Adam had gone down to our friends. That's Adam, had gone down to our friend's house for the evening to enjoy some light recreational drugs.
Oh, yeah, give me a key, Kaz.
It was actually wee brownies.
Oh. Whoa, dude, I'm blazed out of my nut.
Blazed out of our nut, we then leave the house at approximately midnight. Actually, not on the stroke of midnight, the church bells rang.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's 9 o'clock. Just finish it off. 10.
Ding, ding, ding.
The church bells.
Ding,
The church bells in Leamington were faulty. They never told the right song. We leave the house, high off our rocking cockers.
Yeah.
And we walk down. Basically Leamington is a very small town, but there's one really long road that is goes down all the way. So it's the high street. Yeah. There's it's retail shops either side. And that was the walk we had to do from south to north Leamington. There was mist filling the streets. It was absolutely empty. There was no one on the streets whatsoever. We were having a giggle. We were having a good time. We start going up the hill. So the road is slightly tilted upwards. As I say, no one in the street whatsoever. And as we keep going up this hill, with shops either side of us, dead in night, mist fogging us over, we could hardly see. We start to make out this figure in the distance.
Yeah, distance. You got it.
The mist in the distance of the Pistons. And we could see that this figure was actually just walking around in circles. Okay, so for no reason, apparently, as in, and why else would someone walk in circles? As we got closer, we could see that it was quite a frail figure that seemed to be pushing something, just in circles. Absolutely in circles, not deviating from that pure circular line, doing nothing else. So we're walking up there, and as we get closer to this figure, we see it's a woman. It's a woman pushing a pram, still in these perfect circles, not doing anything else. Me and Adam are on the same side of the road as her. We're getting closer, and we're getting closer and closer. And as I get as I can start to see.
Hardly Stephen King, is it?
Fucking hell! As I get within eye distance of the lady, her face. As we get closer, I start to see the facial features of her become more clear. And all I see is death in this lady. There's nothing else but pure death. Her eyes are black, dark black. Her skin is grey. There was a cat that ran off into the distance. And we walked past, and all I could do was focus on this lady's face because I thought I have never seen someone be honestly so reminiscent of death. And my heart was racing as we just walked past this woman. And I remember looking to Adam afterwards and saying, crikey, that lady looked absolutely terrible. That was terrifying. But as I turned to Adam, he had a different level of fear on his face that I wasn't experiencing.
What? Okay.
And I said, what? I mean, I know it was a scary face, but was it that scary? And he went, did you see what was in the pram? And I said, no, I didn't. I was focused on the lady's face. And he went, there was just 2 baby dolls of babies in the pram. And all that woman was doing was standing on the street, walking in a circle, pushing a pram with 2 baby dolls in the pram.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Adam slept on my bed that night.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. It was honestly terrifying.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then 3 years later, I was at the cinema, and I was the cinema at Leamington was a hotspot where people went to do heroin.
Okay, yeah.
That's beside the point. But then I was waiting in line for a ticket, and I looked over, and I can't remember what film we were watching. Why does that matter? And I looked over my shoulder, and I saw a lady sitting in the corner, like on the one of those windows where you could sit down. Someone sitting on the corner, rocking a child. I then caught her eye. It was the same lady. I looked down. She was cradling a doll. Yeah.
Oh, that is quite scary.
Really creepy. And I think that so that was my experience with that.
Because that's the thing about Leamington. Leamington has like a mystical energy to it as a place where it has this weird demographic. It's like in the Midlands, it's a Victorian spa town. So it's kind of like this kind of weird, doesn't really fit in with a lot of the Midlands vibe. It's like built with this kind of Victorian style with lots of these kind of gardens. And the demographics are that like middle class people, old people, homeless people, crack addicts, and students, and that
which was
sort
so clearly defined by North and South.
North and South.
It
There
was
was
you'd
like
cross
clear
the boundary, and most of the students would be living in South.
Yeah.
And South was where it was it was literally the most stark place of old, young, rich, poor I've ever seen in any town.
It was a kind of
Ever.
had a wild energy to it. And there was like a lot of these kind of weird figures who sort of rolled. There was the Grey Man of Lem. Do you remember the Grey Man?
I was about to bring out the Grey Man of fucking Lem.
Lem. It was like a legendary figure because I was told by an older student there that he once saw a man who was completely grey. So all his clothes
It was
were
the stuff
grey,
of legends.
but his skin was grey. And like, there was no one really believed him because he could have been talking out his arse. And then one other person saw the grey man and said, yes, he's completely grey. And he could not stop talking about it. And like, I just thinking, oh, he's wearing grey clothes. And like, I don't know why this guy keeps telling me he's seen this grey man as if it's the most amazing thing. But I get that's before I'd seen someone who was completely grey. And then once, 2 years later, I was walking past and I just saw a man who was entirely grey. And I had to pretend to take a photo of something just to get an image of him. And I do actually have an image of him.
But I remember it was either you or our friend Alfie who burst through the door. I've seen him. He's here. He's in the park now. We need to go now. If you want to see the Grey Man, then you have to go now. And then everyone would run to go see him. But I was always confused whether this was someone who put was he putting like grey makeup on? And then
It's
like,
really
like a silver man, you know, the silver men you get in like Covent Garden or whatever
it looks like it was kind of like grey dirt almost on his face.
So it wasn't the natural quality of his skin.
It wasn't like the those kind of street artists. It wasn't shiny or silver. It was like
was
a
just
dark
dull
grey.
grey.
It's really strange.
It's a fucking
But
strange
he could have had
town.
a skin disorder, like grey skin. You can imagine that.
So don't you feel bad about it?
Not at all. That's the difference between me and you.
If that story was to highlight the darker side of uni, there is a lighter side of uni as well. One of my friends at the same house, actually, that me and Adam had left from, another one of our friends, we were in his room, and one of our other friends had sex in his room the previous night. And we'd had a couple of brewskis before. And we were sitting in his room, and he couldn't get the idea of this guy having sex in his room out of his head. He was quite upset by it. And he thought, you know what, I can't be having this in my room. I need to mark my territory. This is not something I need to show that this room is my room and no one can use it for their follies. So he whipped out his penis and started pissing on his bed. And me and Adam were both in awe and shock, crying with laughter as we're watching our friend urinate on his own bed for the abstract reason of marking his territory on it. And we're both in hysterics, rolling around on the floor, crying with laughter. And Adam is me and him are wrestling at the same time because he's trying to stop him because he's obviously making a terrible mistake. But I'm wrestling Adam off saying, we need to let him do this. Yeah. We need to experience this moment together. And I eventually, I think I just about pulled him off because we had no strength because we were laughing so much. And he emptied all of his urine onto his bed. And then because his bed smelled of wee, he then came to my house and slept in my house that night. And then we got a call from his flatmate saying, why does your room smell of wee? And he said, I don't know.
You never told them?
Maybe this is the first time they'll find out.
Jesus. I mean, just not having the synapses or like the red alert reflexes to like not surely that's one of the most fundamental human things is
to
like
not piss on your
don't
bed.
Piss where you sleep. Like Stone Age people
don't shit where you eat.
Before they found fire, animals know you don't where you sleep is not where you shit.
You probably
that's
don't
like
want
what
urine
children like that's one of the earliest things they learn is like I'm not going to shit where I sleep.
I think because the joy of the moment was it was obviously a joke that I have never, because I'm a big fan of commitment to jokes in any way. And my God, I've never seen a commitment to a joke like that. And when
I think that's one of the highest.
When the wee started coming out,
he just got it out onto his bed, straight piss.
It is one of the most extraordinary sights of my life because it both defied evolutionary biology.
Yeah,
and
he fought against all of his natural urges for the bit.
For the better of human society. So go to uni.
Go to uni. Right. Do you want to wrap the show up then?
Yeah, crikey. Give me some.
We talked about TikTok. We talked about sex parties. We talked about university. we talked about Boris's letter. Uni, TikTok, Boris' letter. Sex parties.
Social media presents a difficult challenge to all of us nowadays, but has a particular burden on the younger of our generation. That means they're getting better in communication, yet our Prime Minister still thinks it's a legitimate thing to do to make up a child. Now, that may be wrong, that may be right, but how we understand wrong from right could well be from going to university and having experiences such as pissing on a bed or seeing a woman walking in the street seeing a woman walking around the street.
You're not getting better at it. You're getting worse. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.